To this video, part one of the videos he had me take back in February of him explaining his side of the story, and it will show you how badly manipulated I was, and the reason, I was there for him through the breakup, because how he had me manipulated so badly. After you guys, see all the parts and see these videos and receipts, y'all will definitely understand. And I also have text messages and stuff between me and him that are going to be coming out soon also.
James Charles just landed himself in the middle of a wild mess that's blowing up all over the internet right now. People are begging him to finally speak up and clear his name, but the fact that he's keeping dead quiet is making everything look way worse. We all know James's reputation isn't exactly squeaky clean, and let's be real, this latest drama isn't doing him any favors. Now let's get into all the madness being talked about. You'd think with the baggage James is already carrying, he'd be laying low and keeping it clean, especially while he's out here trying to hype up his brand Painted and make people forget about his shady past. But no, word on the street is that James might have been pulling some shady moves behind the scenes again. And once more, the public's side-eyeing him hard. At this point, hearing James's name tied to another scandal isn't even surprising anymore, right? But this time, it hits different. It's not just about James doing something messy. It's about who he's allegedly standing behind, maybe even trying to protect. And it's got people seriously heated. To really break it down, we gotta talk about TikTok creator Kayla Malik, the disturbing accusations she's throwing out there, and how James Charles somehow dragged himself right into the middle of all this chaos. Buckle up because it gets messy fast. If you don't know Kayla Malik yet, let me put you on. She's a TikTok creator with millions of followers, known for her goofy videos, collabs with Spencer's, and even linking up with big names like Trisha Paytas and James Charles. So, chances are you've seen her pop up on your feed at least once. But lately, it's not her funny videos that are making headlines. It's something way more serious. Kayla recently came forward with some heavy accusations against her ex-boyfriend, Evan Johnson, calling him out for DV during their relationship. Her story exploded across TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, you name it. People are standing with her strong, praising her for having the guts to speak her truth. Evan Johnson, who's a 20-year-old influencer himself, used to play the perfect boyfriend role on social media. All cute posts and couple goals vibes. But behind the scenes, according to Kayla, it was a whole different, much darker story. When Kayla finally shared the real tea about their relationship, she dropped a warning before telling it all. She poured her heart out in a 2-hour-long video and then hit everyone with a part 2 that was almost just as long. Not long after all that, Evan got arrested. Yup, arrested. He was booked for assault charges and a probation violation tied to past trouble. Even though he was released shortly after, the internet had already caught fire just days after Kayla let everything out. Zach Sellers jumped in with a whole video series showing mad support for Kayla. He revealed that after Kayla dropped her bombshell video, his own cousin came to him with her story. Turns out, she had a thing with Evan too back in 2023. Even though her experience wasn't exactly the same as Kayla's, Zach said his cousin told him she went through some similar shady behavior from Evan during their time together.
Thank you, Kayla, if you ever are watching this, for coming forward. I know it was so hard, and you're a very strong woman, and I'm so sorry what you had to go through. But thank you, Kayla, for coming forward. Because not only that you came forward and you are spreading your story to help others, but just as you released that video, my cousin that lives here in our local town, I never knew that Evan and my cousin, were a thing/dating in February of 2023. And when you released your podcast, she opened up to me and called me and to family that it wasn't as harsh as what you went through, but there's a lot of things that she was by Evan.
Zach also mentioned he personally knew Evan from doing modeling gigs and just living in the same town. But don't get it twisted. Zach made it real clear that he's cut all ties with Evan now. He also dropped another bomb. While they were still cool, Zach had video footage from February 2025, showing Evan already talking about this drama before it exploded online. In the video Zach posted publicly, Evan was basically trying to clap back at Kayla and all the early stuff being said about him. Mind you, this was before Kayla even posted her full 2-hour YouTube exposés. But rumors were already bubbling, and Evan looked like he was trying hard to do some damage control. In the clip, Evan was trying to paint the whole relationship as mutual chaos, basically saying they were both toxic to each other, trying to water down Kayla's serious accusations and throw some of the blame back on her. It's giving deflection big time. Now here's where James Charles really steps into the hot seat. People started digging and realized James had still been following Evan on social media, even after all these allegations broke loose. Screenshots popped up everywhere showing James's name right there on Evan's followers list. And you already know the internet went crazy over it.
So this video, part one of the videos he had me take back in February of him explaining his side of the story, and it will show you how badly manipulated I was, and the reason, I was there for him through the breakup, because how he had me manipulated so badly. After you guys, see all the parts and see these videos and receipts, y'all will definitely understand. And I also have text messages and stuff between me and him that are going to be coming out soon also.
Getting into modeling, right? And after that, she was hitting me up saying how much she misses me. Like, after we're broken up, I post like 2 little snippets of like, I'm getting into modeling, and this is my modeling buddy right here. And I was like, I'm getting into modeling, and then we text each other throughout the day, like how our day's going and stuff like that. I'm not manipulating her. I'm not like, I want you back or any of this. I'm like, I need to focus on myself. And she texts me. And people call that like trauma bond and stuff like that. The 9 months we were together, she said the whole 9 months I was abusing her, right? Why would we go out all the time and do all these crazy adventurous stuff if the whole time it was just terrible? If I was this terrible guy, why would she be with me? She could have left me at any second. She's way more up there than me. Has more money. Like, all this stuff, she don't need me. And if she figured I was no good for her in the time being, she would have left immediately. I promise you that. She exaggerates. And she figured out her views are, she's like, I need to make a series. I need to do something. And now that me and her are broken up, it's like, does she really love me? Like, she's saying what she does behind the scenes to me. Like, I love you, I miss you. All this stuff behind the scenes. But then goes on there and tells you guys a whole different fantasy tale. I don't understand.
Folks started calling James out heavy, asking why he would stay connected to someone facing these kinds of accusations. Some were even saying that by still following Evan, James was basically co-signing him. Whether that's what James meant or not, the optics are bad, real bad. Instead of unfollowing Evan quietly and moving on, James did what James does best. Nothing. Not a word, not a post, not even a shady little like. His silence had everyone thinking the worst and fueled even more backlash. People were straight up accusing him of trying to protect his brand while still keeping ties with people caught up in serious drama. And with everything James's name has been attached to in the past, folks were not feeling forgiving this time. Some even started dragging his brand painted, saying they didn't want to support anything linked to someone who couldn't even cut off a controversial figure like Evan. Then, just when people thought it couldn't get any messier, more tea started spilling. TikTok sleuths found old DMs between James Charles and Evan, and the vibes, not good. It looked like James had been friendly with Evan way longer than anyone thought, maybe even hyping him up back in the day. Some fans tried to defend James, saying, maybe he didn't know about Evan's past. But come on, once those allegations hit the fan, there's no excuse for staying quiet. Especially when you're James Charles, who knows better than anyone how fast the internet receipts can ruin your whole image. What made it worse is that instead of apologizing or even explaining anything, James just went radio silent, pretending like nothing was happening. And that just gave people more reasons to drag him. Some even started making side-by-side timelines, showing James cozying up to Evan right around when the rumors about Evan's bad behavior were already swirling. By this point, James wasn't just catching heat, he was getting roasted across TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit. People were saying this was another example of how influencers protect each other no matter what, even when it's hurting victims who are speaking out.
Evan flew to California to see and stay with JC on February 28th. He stayed until March 3rd. He was supposed to come home on Sunday, but got talked into staying an extra night so they could have, one last night to, hang out and rest and just chill around the home. I know that just because I was in contact the whole time with Evan while he was in California, and I knew a lot of information at that time. I received a message from Evan while he was in California because he was already acting like he was all just the stuff pretty much, because who he was staying the night with multiple nights and whatever went on at JC's house. So the message, I do have everything, receipts, but the message that goes along with this was the lines of, this is coming from Evan, but since she has such a huge fan base, it's really hard to get my truth out. JC told me to be quiet as long as I can, no matter what. That come from Evan, and that was while he was in California.
The pressure's building heavy, and if James doesn't make a move soon, it's looking like he's gonna be in way deeper than he probably ever expected. As the drama kept growing, people started dragging up even more receipts from James's past. And it was not a good look. Some users were bringing back old controversies, reminding everyone that James already had a history of being tied up in messy situations with questionable people. It was like the internet had a flashback and decided they were done giving him second chances. Comment sections were blowing up with people saying things like, James Charles stays defending the wrong ones, and he never learns. It wasn't just random trolls either. Even bigger creators started low-key shading James without mentioning his name directly. You know it's bad when other influencers start jumping ship too. Meanwhile, Evan was acting like nothing happened, posting random stuff online like he wasn't just at the center of some serious allegations. And James? Still dead silent. Not even a classic iPhone notes apology post. The longer he stayed quiet, the worse it got. Every hour that passed, people were more convinced that James wasn't just accidentally linked to Evan. They started thinking maybe he really didn't see anything wrong with staying cool with him. The trust was already shaky. Now it was straight up broken for a lot of people. At this point, fans weren't just asking for a statement, they were demanding it. By now, hashtags were trending, people were canceling Painted, and James's reputation was hanging by a thread. TikTokers started posting videos saying they were throwing away his products and unfollowing him for good. It was looking like a full-blown boycott. Some ex-fans were saying they felt betrayed because they had defended James through other scandals before. But this time, staying silent while serious accusations were flying around. That was the final straw for a lot of people. One TikTok even went viral showing a whole timeline of James's past dramas leading up to this. And it was brutal. They pieced everything together, and it painted a pretty ugly picture. No matter how James tried to ignore it, the internet wasn't letting this slide. Meanwhile, Kayla Malik's supporters were getting even louder, praising her bravery and dragging anyone who even looked like they were standing with Evan. It was clear. This wasn't just about drama anymore. This was about trust, accountability, and showing real support to victims speaking out. At this point, if James thought he could just stay quiet and it would blow over, he seriously miscalculated. Zach wasn't done yet. He kept dropping more videos showing Evan trying to defend himself. But Zach straight up called it for what it was: manipulation. He said Evan was just spinning the story to make himself look better and downplay everything that Kayla had said. Zach also made it clear he's not playing around. He's working with a lawyer right now to get all his receipts lined up. He's got videos, messages, everything saved and ready to go because he's serious about getting justice for Kayla. And let's be real, it's about time someone stood up and came prepared with the facts. After Kayla and Evan broke up, people were already talking. Stories were flying about Evan's behavior. But back then, Zach and others were getting dragged for still being cool with Evan. The videos of Evan trying to clear his name from the inside of a car?
how is JC involved with the Kayla and Evan situation? The reason that he's involved is because JC was already warned, told, and given information from Kayla the day that she broke up with Evan, that what he had done to her and how bad he was and how things got bad. There was a comment back to her, and it was along the lines, "Can I have him now?" Those lines were just, I guess she thought that was a joke, because, friends joke at that time. Kayla and JC have been friends. They've done, videos, collab together, and so on. So from that to him lying to Kayla, JC lying to Kayla and saying that he's not in contact with Evan, he doesn't speak to Evan, and a lot more stuff to that. When Evan went to California, there was a phone call. I was on the phone actually with Evan, and there was a phone call that JC received from Kayla and said, hey, like around the lines, not word for word, but it was around the lines of, hey, I know this is a weird question, but by any chance, is Evan with you? And JC comes back to Kayla and said, no, why would he be with me? During that time, they were sitting right beside each other, literally right beside each other. So at that time, he was lying to his best friend that she trusted, and lied and said that, he hasn't talked to him and he doesn't know anything why, Evan's in LA. Well, that's the point, is he was hiding this from Kayla because he didn't want Kayla to know. He did not want anyone to know. He didn't want any fans to know or anything, because he knew the story. Kayla opened up so much different information. I don't know exactly what she opened up and said to, JC, but he was well aware why they broke up. And then after they broke up, he went straight after Evan and had to,
Yeah, those were from February, back when Zach and Evan were still tight. But here's where it gets even messier. Zach spilled that at the end of February, Evan allegedly went and stayed at James Charles's house. Yup, while rumors about Evan's behavior were already starting to bubble, he was out here chillin' with James. Zach said he knew all this firsthand because he was still friends with Evan during that time. Even though Zach says he can't spill every detail just yet, he hinted hard that there's way more involving James. And now he's even calling him JC when talking about it. It's clear, there's a lot more to this story that's about to come out. In this latest video drop, things get even crazier. Zach starts breaking down how shady it looks that James was even hanging around Evan in the first place. Like, let's not forget, James had made content with Kayla before. And sure, sometimes influencers collab without even being real friends, no big deal, right? But according to Zach, that wasn't the case here. Zach is claiming that Kayla and James were actually friends, not just casual collab buddies, real friends. So for James to be chillin' with her ex, yeah, that's already mad shady. But to be friendly with her ex while nasty rumors were flying around about him? That's a whole new level of foul.
He has reached out to me through DMs on Instagram. I have not posted any of that. One of those DMs, I have paperwork. I have to move that really fast. There's lots of paperwork. I have everything together. But one thing was, he said on Sunday. So he sent this on Sunday, the first video, that I went, public with, not even 5 minutes. And he's like over here, like DMing me like all kinds of paragraphs and crazy stuff. And then I was confronting him like, bro, like I know everything. And now he knows that I know everything. And I feel like, that's why he's hushed up and, he's trying to keep everything like out of like the light. But he was saying, I'd really appreciate if you could take down your videos until we have an opportunity to talk. Sorry again, it took me so long to see your message. Coachella is the busiest time of the year for me.
Zach admitted he was manipulated too, said Evan was feeding him lies, and he believed it for a while. But when it comes to James, Zach's not letting him slide so easy. He pointed out that James was friends with both Kayla and Evan at the same time. And that's where it gets real messy. According to Zach, James allegedly knew some of the things Kayla had gone through, heard it straight from her. And even with all that, James was still cozying up to Evan like it was nothing. Zach even hinted that James was acting like he was trying to take Kayla's man while smiling in her face. If that's true, that's beyond wild. And here's where it gets even messier, because even if James tried to pull the card like, oh, Evan manipulated me and I only heard one side, people still aren't buying it. The real issue is that even after Kayla posted her heartbreaking video recently, James has stayed completely silent. Not even a basic post saying, I don't support Evan. Nothing! And that's silence. It's making everyone side-eye James hard. Like, what's really going on here? Is he still trying to be cool with Evan? Why even stay connected to him after everything that's come out? It's weird, and people are not here for it. And let's not forget, Evan's only 20 years old. Yeah, technically grown, but come on now. Why is James still getting caught up in messy situations with people that young? It's giving the same tired pattern, and fans are fed up. Like, seriously, James, why are we doing this again?
James, I'm calling you out. Let's talk about whenever we were in the car and you were FaceTiming, Evan all the time. You remember the time when you were just talking about how fat your AS was? You remember talking so badly and poorly about Kayla and pretty much hyping Evan up that he wasn't in the wrong, that he won out of this? Like, let's talk about the time when we were on FaceTime and then you hung up and then you sent a message on Instagram and says, I have a big surprise for you when you get home. Just remember, I went home with Evan, so I saw everything. You remember the photos you sent? Multiple photos.
To make it even worse, people started noticing that James has allegedly been deleting comments under his posts, comments that mention all the drama. Instead of addressing the situation, he's out here trying to clean it up quietly like no one's gonna notice. Bad move. Zach didn't let up either. In his videos, he called James out even more. Zach claimed that he was allegedly in convo with James, but James was too busy partying it up at Coachella to actually handle the situation properly. All he allegedly cared about was trying to get Zach to take his videos down. Like, seriously? Priorities, James. Zach didn't hold back. He straight up called James out and urged him to finally speak up and address the mess he's caught up in. At this point, everyone's just waiting to see if James will actually say anything. But as of right now, still nothing but silence. Just like the advice he allegedly gave Evan. It really feels like James thinks he can just ride this out until people forget. But honestly, this whole situation is just another reminder to the public about his true character. Sad to say, but it's not looking like much has changed with him, even with all the time and second chances he's been given. A lot of people were really rooting for James to grow up, clean up his act, and move different. But here we are again, and it's not what anyone wanted to see. The silence, the sketchy moves, the same old patterns. It's just not sitting right with people anymore. So that's everything that's been going down with James Charles and his messy involvement in this whole situation. I seriously want to know what you think about all of this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out when more updates drop. Love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!